Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli, or whatever. One of, if not the most high quality animation studio out there. They've been making some bomb movies for decades, some of which are regarded as some of the best animated movies ever made. So it's only fair that up until 2 years ago, I saw none of their movies. Yeah, Studio Ghibli has only recently been a part of my life. But as time went on, the more interest I grew for Ghibli. So I said, forget it. I'm going to watch all of their movies. A year later, and here we are. I've seen every Ghibli movie, and unfortunately, they're not created equal. So that's why I decided to rank them all. Because why not? A couple of quick things before we actually get into the ranking. Number 1. I will not be ranking The Red Turtle. It is not a Ghibli film. It's only a co-production. Number 2, if I talk about a movie very briefly compared to other ones in the ranking, that's because I either don't have a lot to say about it, or it's been a while since I've seen it and my memory's a bit foggy. Also, there will be spoilers for like a decent amount of the movies I talk about, so watch out for that. Now that we have all of that out of the way, let's get into the ranking. Ocean Waves blows. Yeah, this movie's bad. This is the one and only TV movie that Ghibli has made, and for good reason, because again, it's not good. It's really not. The biggest problem with this movie is that the relationship between the main character and this one chick, I forgot their names, I don't even care. It's so bad. The girl treats the guy like total garbage, and yet the guy's still like, oh, I still want to be with her. Also, this scene exists. Wow, what a healthy relationship. And then they end up getting, like, falling in love in the end, and it literally makes no sense. Plus, I gotta discuss the elephant in the room. This movie is, like, totally accidentally queer, okay? I had no idea about this before seeing it, and when I watched it, I'm like, are you guys, like, not paying attention? Like, do you not notice how you're making this movie really queer? I would have totally wanted to see a movie about those two guys, like, falling in love. But no, it has to be this one woman. Overall, this movie is it's terrible, okay? But I can give it some compliments. For a TV movie, the quality is pretty good. The animation is nice. Yeah, but that's like par for the course. That doesn't save this movie. It sucks.
Brother, we should go.
I order you to stop!
Okay.
Hear me out. Earwig and the Witch is not that bad. I know, y'all can shoot me down for saying this, but I genuinely mean it. Is the movie still bad? Yeah, like, it sucks. But honestly, it's not as bad as I was expecting. I was, like, dreading seeing this one. I was like, oh god, it's gonna be the worst thing ever. But it wasn't. And I don't know why. Maybe that's because I was in a really good mood that day, so I was a bit more lenient. Yes, the CG animation does not look good, okay? That's there's no doubt about that. Sometimes it looks okay, but then other times it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna vomit. The worst part about the movie is definitely the main character. She is not likable in the slightest. She really isn't. Plus the story is just like, it's just bad. Like, they're just dinking around making potions. Like, it still does have that sort of like Ghibli like feel to it, you know, like throughout the movie. Like, I felt that it was a Ghibli movie. The Mandrake was fun, but he wasn't in the movie as much as I hoped for, so that was lovely. Oh, and the ending. Oh, dude, I cannot even call it an ending, to be honest. Like, towards the end of the movie, it's building up, and I'm like, okay, I think I see what's going on here. The main character's gonna meet her mom, and they're gonna have a nice scene together, and then that's the movie. But bro, the mom just shows up, she goes, hi, and then the movie ends. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this movie's still bad. Not the worst, but ugh, god, it could have been so much better.
Eternal life. No thanks. I have seen enough.
This movie's really mid. Before Earwig came out, this movie was definitely what people considered the worst. They're sort of right and sort of wrong. I mean, this movie's not great, but it's not really bad. I don't know. I have really mixed feelings about it because some parts of the movie are pretty nice. I mean, The scenery is really cool. Some of the locations throughout the movie were nice. Willem Dafoe in the English dub, yes sir. But yeah, there's more negatives than positives. The main character is just bad. Like, he does, like, I swear to God, nothing throughout the movie, and he gets captured and, like, enslaved by Willem Dafoe, and you're just like, okay, who cares? I'm glad this idiot's captured. Plus, literally, look at his sword. Do I even need to say it? What I will say, though, is the best part of the movie was when that woman sang for like a good 2 minutes. It was a nice, like, breath of fresh air from all the magic and garbage and all that stuff. Oh, the ending where she becomes a dragon. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. I am eternal life. Yo, okay.
Oh, no, Daddy don't get scared. Really? Good.
Ariete or Secret of the... Who cares what it's called? This movie's alright. In terms of the modern Ghibli movies, this is the one I, like, hear, like, almost nothing about. And I thought to myself, is this some kind of, like, unearthed masterpiece? No, but hey, it's still pretty okay. The whole, like, little people world, man, that was pretty cool. I really like all the creativity that went into the small people world. Like when Ariete found the pin. For humans, it's a pin. For her, it's a sword that she, like, uses once. What ultimately holds this movie down is the human side of the story. The villain, or, like, eventual villain, is just, like, just so weak. She's like, oh, the little people exist. Now I'm evil. I want to trap them.
Okay.
Also, the one kid that was going through the heart problems, I wish he got more to do in the movie. Overall, it's pretty alright.
Okay, then maybe you should go up to him and say, hey, now that everyone's gone, can we privately have a brother-sister moment?
Okay. Listen, going into Poppy Hill, I heard nothing but praise for this movie. I was expecting a lot from this movie, and my expectations were not met. Some parts of the movie are really, really good. The whole, like, clubhouse or whatever with the students being rebuilt. Dog, that was, like, one of the coolest things in this studio's, like, history. Like, it was so cool. The whole, like, sailing with all the flags and stuff, that was cool too. But ultimately, y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh my god. Bro, I don't even need to say it. Y'all probably already know by now. I didn't really like Poppy Hill. I'm sorry. I wanted to really like this movie because I heard so much about it and how good it was. I swear, it's just not for me. It's still a pretty okay movie. I would recommend it. Please don't send me to hell for this. I'm sorry.
Do you, Maggie, take Dan to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do not.
The Castle of Oh, forget it. This movie's nice, okay? This movie is nice. I think it encapsulates, like, a lot of, like, 70s animation, like, really well when it, like, came to, like, movies or TV shows. It has that feeling, you know, that you can't really describe. I can't describe it. What am I even talking about? This movie's good, okay? What? I am a fan of Lupin, however you say it. It was a great adaptation. Yeah, the action's good. It's funny. That's basically all I have to say. It's pretty darn good.
Let's go. It's me, Mario.
Guys, Whisper of the Heart is a good movie. That's a lot I can say about it. This is the same thing with Poppy Hill. Before I watched it, I heard so much praise for it. I went into it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as I was expecting. What I liked most about this movie was the characters. The main character and her love with copying country roads. That was nice and charming. The Cat Baron was nice. The old man with all the relics with the Cat Baron. Oh my god. I forgot to talk about the best part. The dream sequence. Oh my god. I loved it. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say. It's a good movie. It might be your cup of tea. It might not.
You want to make a bit of money? You should do what I did. Get into farming.
Man, wasn't being young the best? The first half of Only Yesterday was, I'm not stretching this, some of the best Ghibli things I've ever seen. If the whole movie was like the first half. It would have been my favorite Ghibli movie. But then the second half happens and it's just a bunch of farming and a Puma advertisement, and I'm just like, you had such a good thing going. Why is it now about farming? Don't get me wrong, the second half isn't like terrible, but compared to the first half, it's not even close. What I will say is the ending where, you know, everything like comes full circle and like the people from the character's youth are like there in the present. That was really sweet. I almost cried, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, it was such a great ending. But regardless of how not so great the second half was, in my opinion, the movie's still really good. I definitely recommend you watch this one.
Suddenly, it appeared.
What did I think it was before? Is it Marnie or Marnay? Or what am I talking about? Yeah, this movie's good. Okay. Just like the whole idea of this movie is like really good. Like I loved it. With this promising concept, I was expecting like one of the best like movies from Ghibli, and like it started off that way. Unfortunately, it didn't really finish that way, but it's still a good movie, okay? The relationship with Marnie, whatever, and the main character is really touching and sweet. Plus, the goat herself is in this, so it gets bonus points. It's a good movie. What else can I say?
You know, Smithers, I think I'll donate $1 million to the local orphanage. When pigs fly.
Yeah, this movie slaps. I think I have like the most little to say about Porco. Not because it's like not good. It is good. Like, don't get it twisted. It's funny. It's got great action. The animation is beautiful. Character relationships are good. It's good, okay? The ending's great. It takes a turn and it's so Porco Rosso. I don't know how else to describe it. It is so Porco Rosso.
When I grow up, I want to go to the moon.
Why wait?
I originally didn't like this one. Yeah, I know. This was the start of my Ghibli-thon, I guess, so to say, that I mentioned. So maybe getting into Ghibli without a doubt, like their most like ambitious and like so very different movie from theirs was hard. That didn't stop the fact that this movie is, oh man, it's good. The animation is easily the best part of the movie. Sometimes it looked a little off, but maybe that's just me from like watching like a good like half of the movie. I'm like, okay, I've been looking at paintings for like an hour and a half, but most of the time the animation looks, oh my god, it looks amazing, especially with the running scene. Easily top 5 Ghibli scene, period. I do think that the movie is a little bit too long. I don't remember exactly how long it is, and the ending was a little bit weak. It kind of just happened and I'm like, okay. Regardless, it's a good movie. Some people say it's their best. I disagree. Oh boy. This movie makes me so happy. Yeah, there really isn't a lot to say about Grave of the Fireflies. It's really sad. It's easily the most depressing Ghibli film. And it's like their only one where they're just like, okay, let's decide to make everybody in the audience cry. Okay, we do not care. Anyways, the movie is pretty good. Like, no doubt about it, even though it's, again, very, very sad. The animation can sometimes just look gorgeous. And, like, this was early Ghibli, and it still looked this good. How do they do it? If you are willing to go through the actual hell this movie brings you, then, yeah, you will enjoy it if you're crazy enough to watch it.
Am I a cat?
Now this is an underrated masterpiece. This is the only Ghibli spin-off or sequel that they've ever made, and it should stay that way because this movie is amazing. The only problem I have with this movie is the fact that it is too short. This is shorter than Ocean Waves, and that was a TV movie. Ignoring the length of the movie itself is just, it's It's amazing. The best parts of the movie happen in the cat world, and it takes a little bit for it to get the ball rolling to go to like the cat world. But when it does, oh my god, it is so good. Every character is really enjoyable. They're all funny.
Thanks a lot, babe.
The action's great. The ending's great. What else do I have to say? This movie's great.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die.
Are you guys surprised or not? Is this like a common thing? My Neighbor Totoro is really good, but there is a little bit of problems I have. Everything before when Totoro starts is a little weak. Don't get me wrong, the stuff with two girls is fun. Them like discovering like how haunted their new home is. I feel like this movie breezes past too quickly. I don't know if that's a good thing because I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, or a bad thing with like how the pacing is. I don't know. If you're interested in watching all of Studio Ghibli, this is the movie that you have to watch first. It like almost perfectly encapsulates like everything great about Ghibli into one movie. It's honestly the most wholesome Ghibli movie. Like it's like almost impossible not to smile while watching this movie. I know I'm kind of putting this so-called like masterpiece so low. I know, I kind of feel bad. Don't get me wrong, the movie's really good, but not as good as some of their other ones.
I'm too old for this shit.
Oh boy. Howl's Moving Castle is pretty divisive. One half of Ghibli fans say it's the best. The other half just don't get it or think it's not good or only okay or whatever. I am in the middle with this movie. Some parts are incredible, but some parts suck.
I'm gonna say something to you right now that I've never said to another living soul in my life.
The character of Howl, I don't like him. I really don't. I'm sorry. He kind of like acts like a child throughout the movie. I really wanted to like him. His name is on the freaking poster, okay? He also like lost his heart, and his heart is the fire dude. Oh, by the way, Mike Wazowski, fire dude. He was really good. I loved him. Also, speaking of the characters, every character is amazing except for you. The little kid that turns into the the girl who, you know, grew old. She's a lot of fun. There are a couple little things that I don't like. The whole like war being solved like so abruptly and quickly. That kind of sucked. Plus the ending just was so abrupt. Also, the way that the main character returned from being young because of her love for Howl could have been explained more. Regardless of those two things, it is a really good movie that you definitely should watch.
What the hell? What happened?
They take Jerusalem!
Who's they?
The goddamn leaves!
Oh yeah. Almost everything about this movie is like, it's top tier. The adventure that the characters go on, the locations, the action, like, oh my god. But the best part of this is the world building. Like, it's insane. Literally the beginning of the movie when like the pirates are like looking for the girl and like they're doing all the action. Oh my god, I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. When they actually get to the castle, like, oh my god. It was like heavenly, for real. The only thing that I really didn't like about this movie was the dynamic between the two main characters. It felt a little weak, to be honest. If that relationship was built better and done better, movie would have gotten more points for that. Besides all that, Castle in the Sky, it's really, really good. It's another early Ghibli banger.
Clear direct to Albuquerque via the aircraft calling. Please stand by.
Another movie about planes? What is this? The History Channel? Yeah, no one talks enough about The Wind Rises because this movie's amazing. In terms of like the like really like grounded movies, this is easily the best like realistic Ghibli movie. It's a very simple movie in terms of story. It's about a guy and his brodies building a plane and all the adversity that takes, and then he falls in love with all that adversity because that woman just all of a sudden starts puking blood, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Thanks for suddenly becoming Grave with the Fireflies. That, and another example when an earthquake happened like in the beginning of the movie. That's definitely when the movie like just like literally hits a 180. A total 180 that you don't expect, and it really hits you. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say about it. This movie it's amazing, and I definitely recommend you check this out.
I'm joking! Stop! 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 Stop the brake! Stop! Stop! Stop!
I've seen weirder movies. Pom Poko is another underrated gem in my humble opinion. It's all about a bunch of raccoons surviving and learning how to transform to get in with the times and all that stuff. It's got a great environmental message that you really can't like butcher. The messages and the overall fun of Pompoko definitely makes it a special one in my heart. I really like all of the often like ridiculous and silly stuff, but also the really heartfelt, like emotional parts of this movie. Those two parts ultimately create just a fantastic movie. I loved this movie. I love it. I love raccoons.
How are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
Wait. Is Ponyo chicken? No, surely not. Anyways, Ponyo is amazing. This was the very first Ghibli movie I heard about, and it was because it was one of the trailers from my DVD of Cars, and I watched Cars a lot when I was a kid, so I would always see that Ponyo commercial. I know, it is the weirdest way to get introduced to a studio like ever. It reminded me a lot about Finding Nemo, and I'm just like, what is this? Finding Nemo 2? But it still looked like a good movie that as a kid I was like, hey, maybe I'll check this out. I didn't watch it until over a decade later, but regardless, I'm glad I watched it. Ponyo is so good. The best part is the animation. The animation in this movie is gorgeous. For me, it's Ghibli's best, and it's not even close. Plus, like, even though, like, the location is very simple, when it changes due to the freaking massive tsunami that Ponyo made, by the way, thank you for that. The world that it makes with, like, almost everything submerged in water, and they have to, like, cross everything on a little, oh my god, it was so cute. The only thing I don't like about Ponyo is the ending. It was really abrupt. It was like, the thing happened, boom, it's over. Really, guys? Besides all of that, Ponyo is incredible. It is such a good movie.
Me neighbours are always listening to really loud drum and bass, whether they like it or not.
Yes. Yes. Yes, My Neighbors, the Yamadas, is the most underrated Ghibli movie ever. I never expected to like this movie that much. I heard nothing about this movie before I watched it, and that is a crime, because this movie is a masterpiece. But it's just a bunch of silly nonsense. Exactly. But it's the best kind of silly nonsense. The comic book like animation, it's so good. Not only that, but this is the funniest Ghibli movie ever. I was laughing throughout the entire thing. So much good jokes. The animation makes it all wholesome, which makes it even funnier. I know I'm harping on about very simple things about this movie, but to me, that's what makes it so good. This movie is a lot like Howl's Moving Castle in terms of, you know, the perception or reaction. Some people really like it, some people really don't. I encourage people that have seen this to give it a second chance if they didn't like it. And to people that haven't watched it, please give this a chance. Even if you don't really like it, please give this movie a shot. Who knows? It may be in your top 5, just like me.
Today's the day I learned to fly. Flying through the air like...
Yeah, of course this one's top 5. Kiki's Delivery Service it's great. I don't really know what else to say. The sheer wonder that this movie has is unlike any other movie, regardless if it's a better or worse movie. When Kiki's just flying around and you like are able to like witness this new like home for her, it's so amazing. The story is not like very like complex. It's very simple. She gets a job. She's gotta go here, go there. Even though it's very simple, it still makes every one of those like simple things really compelling and just amazing to watch. Plus the ending is, you couldn't ask for a better ending. You really couldn't. The characters are great. Animation's great. What? I don't need to say anything else. It is an absolute classic.
Sounds like bugs.
He said bugs.
You mean bugs? I hate bugs.
Yeah, this movie is amazing. Ghibli's technically first movie is nothing short of wonderful. The scale of what this movie brings is just incredible. Everywhere that the characters go just feels like something so grand. In terms of world building, this is the best when it comes to Ghibli. The stakes and what the stakes bring to the story is also great, with the big old monsters that they gotta fight, planes, and all that stuff oh my god, it's so good. It is unbelievable how good this movie is. They made a movie just so wonderful on their first try. How did they do it? Yeah, I can't recommend this movie enough. You have to see it.
On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
Oh my god, this movie is incredible. This one is without a doubt Ghibli's most mature, if you don't really want to include like Grave of the Fireflies, because that maturity is in how sad it is. This one's maturity is the fact that people get decapitated by arrows. I do not know how that makes any sense, but it's there. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I like how violent it is. That makes me sound crazy, but I do really like how mature it is. Like, you can tell that this movie existing shows that Ghibli doesn't want to make, you know, like the same old movie every time. Like, you know, always for kids, always got this message. I love how they took so much risks with this movie, and it paid off so well. Every character is amazing. There is not a single weak character. I do wish the title character, Mononoke, got a little bit more screen time, but regardless, every time she's on screen, she slays. Yas queen. The action's great. Everything, like, involved, like, with the spirits and like the animals was like ridiculous. Y'all might not know this, I'm a big wolf guy, and watching these like almost like demigods talk some of the most dope voices was so good. Anyways, Mononoke is it's so good. It almost was #1. I was debating whether or not to make this #1 or 2. It was hard. Like, you have no idea. It's a masterpiece. I don't need to say anything else. You're not surprised by this, like, you're really not. I may have some bias because this was the very first Ghibli movie I watched, but Spirited Away is unbelievable. I know I sound like a broken record because like almost everyone has Spirited Away as #1, but that is a testament to how good this movie is and how good the studio that made it is. The fact that I had to wrestle with the idea that this movie might not have been #1 shows how good Ghibli is. Everything about this movie is actual perfection. The animation, the characters, the story, the world building, everything is top tier. I don't really have a lot to say about Spirited Away because what I could say has already been said so many times. Spirited Away is the pinnacle of animation. If you somehow have not seen Spirited Away, you need to stop what you're doing and watch this absolute godsend of a movie. It's a masterpiece. Do I need to say anything more? Thank you guys so much for watching this ranking video. I had a lot of fun making it. I also had a lot of fun watching all the movies I had to rank. I'm gonna have a little bit of text scrolling. There's video credits and 1 to 10 scales of all the movies and other bits and pieces that you might find interesting. I really enjoyed going through Studio Ghibli, like Ghibli, whatever, however you freaking say it, I don't care. I really had a lot of fun with it. It really surprised me with how much quality movies they had. Even the ones that like aren't like amazing, they still had some really nice stuff to it. And I don't know if you can really say that with other like big animation studios like Ghibli. I love how willing they are to do a bunch of different stuff. Comparing one Ghibli movie to another is like almost impossible. Overall, I had a fantastic time with Studio Ghibli, and oh man, I cannot wait to rewatch some of their movies. Even the ones that aren't like top 5 or 20, like, I'm gonna look back at them and rewatch them again and just have a blast. I hope to do other ranking videos like this in the future with other studios or directors or whatever. I love sharing my love or this love with a certain batch of movies with you. It's a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.